So now, so this is the rib cage like this, right? So now I know that because this is so flat, right? I'm probably gonna see just, I'm just making it up, right? I'm gonna just the chin here, and the head is gonna be here, like that, right? So that's the head. The nose, let's say, is here, and the eyes, the eyes are gonna be here, and the mouth is here, right? Make sense? So we're just making it up, right? But when you look at your pose, anyway. Next one, right? So now we have, let's say, the rib cage is oriented this way. See that? The head is oriented instead a little bit straighter. So this way. So the rib cage goes this way. The head is oriented this way, right? So now we can also think about the pelvis. Maybe you want to have the pelvis tilted a little bit more this way. So I'm gonna have the same width of the rib cage coming down like this, right? And then I block in now the pelvis, the marshmallow of the pelvis like this, and I'm gonna have the overlapping, right? So how do I? And let's look at this layer. Let's look at this layer, right? So this is the base of the pelvis, basically, right? The bottom is the big marshmallow of the pelvis, and now this is oriented that way, right? That way, like this, right? So we have this oriented this way, right? This oriented this way, and this oriented that way, right? You kind of change angle. All these segments change angle, right? And this is now the center of the pelvis, right? So center of the face, center of the rib cage, center of the pelvis, right? Now here I want to attach the legs. When in my model I see the iliac spines, right, which are going to be at the upper quarter here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. See that? And when I see the pubic bone, I know that here's the middle, and my thigh is going to be blocked in here like this, right? So this leg, let's say I want to have it out like that, right? And blocking the volume of the thigh like that, because it connects with this. This leg is I want to have it straight. So here, and this goes up like that, right? So that is, the genital is gonna be here, right? This is the anus, basically the perineus and anus in here, and the glutea are gonna be here, but we don't need to draw those. You just need to understand that's the perineus, the bottom of the space between genitals and anus, right? And in my model, when I copy a pose like this, what I want to do, I want to start thinking, how long is the leg, right? If this is drawn correctly, I can see if this is higher than the face or at the same level as the face or lower than the face. So I kind of put it where it is in my model, because so I just simply line it up. So I line up this one in my model. I just take my pencil, I line it up. I say, oh, look, this is above the head. How much? A little bit. I can eyeball that, right? Then this gets up to here. Then I look at the end. I look at the end of the lower leg, and that's the ankle bone. And I look at this. What is this? Oh, look, it's at the level of the perineus here, like this, right? And the heel is at the level of the end of the glutei. So I'm going to find this length by relating it to the pre-existing proportions, right? This one here, the knee, what is the knee? I bring it up and say, oh, look, it's just in close to the nose, right? Or it could be a little bit longer, it could be lower, right? Okay, shorter. Whatever that is, right? It could be here, for example, right? If it's more foreshortened. You say it's a little bit to the right of the nose, right? So I can still line up all of these with pre-existing measurement that I have established. So now I want to block in this leg. Let's say this leg come down like this, right? And I want to see, well, what is that joint? Is, you know, I line it up here, cuts a little bit at the level of the knee, the middle of the knee, right? More or less. And here now I have the foot. They can block in like this, right? And I want to see, what is that? What is the heel? Is, oh, look, it's at the level of the knee. Makes sense? So I have all these alignments, right? All these alignments, see that? And notice one thing. These alignments are all either vertical or horizontal, because they're much more reliable than doing this kind of alignment like this, right? To me, these don't mean anything, because they are too susceptible to variation. When you take an angle, if you don't do exactly the angle you have to you observe, you're bound to make mistake. If I start from here and I try to replicate the angle and I make a mistake in measuring of like 3 degrees or 2 degrees, right? This leg is gonna end up here. Make sense? That's a big difference. But if I bring this up, I know vertical, I know horizontal is very much more reliable, more precise, and faster. So now the shoulder joint is, remember, this is the top of the marshmallow, right? Is in the posterior half of the depth of the marshmallow. So that's the elbow, sorry, the shoulder joint. And I have now an arm that I could block in here like this, right? Establish the length based on, again, alignments. We could also have this arm up like this, right? And we establish this, the length of this, aligning it with something else, right? It could be, see this iliac spine, right? You see, oh, it's a little bit higher than the iliac spine. All right, that's fine, right? And then we have here now the hand, right? And that, what is the top of the hand? Oh, look, at the level of the shoulder. All right, I put it, or close, or, you know, or nearby. This our arm instead, we could lift it up like this, right? Imagining where it would be on the other side, projecting this on the other side, right? And imagine the section, right? And maybe this arm come down like this now over the face, right? Like that, right? Make sense?
Are you looking at a picture, at a drawing, or are you making this up?
No, I'm making this up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, but that's something you might want to practice to do, right? Making it up, right? In data, right? Doing that, working like that. So let's try now to work on this by drawing it from the opposite angle, like as if we were looking down on the other side, right? So we can start. So this is the now the thing we want always consider when we see a figure like that. Where do I start from, right? And that is really up to you, right? I started with the rib cage, but what I could have done, actually, let's do this figure again, but starting it from starting from the leg, right? So I look at the leg. Why the leg? Because it's straight. It's not affected by perspective. It's right in my face. So that's become my ruler. That become my ruler. Almost like a ruler with all the lines of measurement here like that. So I'm gonna draw either the lower leg or the thigh, either way. Let's start with the thigh, right? I'm blocking the thigh, right? A measurement. That measurement is going to be your ruler like that, right? After this, so let's forget this for now, right? After this, what we do, we can say, okay, let's attach the hips to it. I look at the hips and I see that this measurement here, right? This measurement here is not halfway. It's a little bit lower than halfway, so it's not halfway, a little bit lower. So that's the hips, right? And this come down, right, to pass below the thigh. So here, below the thigh here. Now I can also see that. So that this one here, like that, that's below the thigh, right? So I can also compare the width of this to the measurement of the length of the legs. So how wide is this? And it's, oh, look, lucky me, it's this remaining space here, right? So I take this now, I put it here, And I guess it right? So that's the pelvis. This, I can eyeball it. It's just a little bit lower than that here, right? And then I can block it now. This leg, where is that? So now when I have this, right? I have this and this. I can do is blocking the pubic bone, block the iliac spine, and blocking the center of the belly, right? Which in real life, they're going to be visible. So you're not going to see dots and lines, but you're going to see a bump in here and a bump in here and the genitals in here. So you can recognize those also as organic forms, not just in the diagram, right? So now I have the genitals here. So this leg just developed right here. So I take this, and it's slightly shorter than this because it's in foreshortening. Makes sense. So I eyeball this, take this, put it here, and now I have the thigh. Right. So now it can come down. I can keep going with the rib cage, right? So this one here, the rib cage is slightly higher than that. So here, right? And this continues right here. The top of the rib cage is 1, 2, 3, about at the upper third of the thigh, sorry. It's about at the upper third of the thigh, so bring out this. And I have now the top of the rib cage somewhere here, which I can eyeball like that, right? And now I have the chin, which is here, right? I'll also eyeball it. And so on. Make sense? So I started now with the leg. I used the leg to line up all the various proportion of the body in relation to the leg. So now I have proportional relationship, correct. So the proportion of the leg are all in the correct relationship with the proportion of the head, the torso, the pelvis, the leg, the genital, and so on, right?